Hello there. So you pay your 3 million quid and you get your seat in the House of Lords. As per usual, please like, subscribe and comment below. And when subscribing, please do press that little bell, but also select the all option, or you won't get any notifications when I publish a new video. Well, it looks like the opposition has now got something they can hit the Boris government with. Allegations of Tory Sleaze. And they'll be lining up in the Commons today to hack lumps out of the Tory benches while they can, because there's an emergency debate this afternoon on the consequences of the decision of the House of the 3rd of November relating to standards. That is, the Patterson affair. And now, after the Patterson affair, PPE Gate, Covid Test and Trace Gate, Wallpaper Gate and Holiday Gate, we now have claims that wealthy Tory peers bought their peerages for the princely sum of 3 million quid. And after Boris and his party appeared to be defying gravity in the polls by staying aloft far above Labour with no visible means of support, it started to crumble. Johnson's poll rating is plummeting, and Labour are now only 1 point behind the Tories, with YouGov putting the Conservatives on 36% and Labour on 35%, whereas just a week ago the Tories had a 6-point lead. And the pollsters' Opinium now have Boris himself on an approval rating of -20. He must be feeling very chilly right now. But this will give the Labour leader Keir Starmer something to cheer about though. But heaven knows why people instantly turn to the Reds when the Blues go belly up and vice versa. Because when we do, nothing ever changes. But the electorate seems to think that only red or blue can be in charge, don't they? Anyway, there are calls for Plod to be brought in to investigate and arrest Tories for their sleazy, self-serving behaviour, as well as calls for the leader of the House, Jacob Rees-Mogg, to stand aside. Not only that, the Tory backbenchers are revolting. Yes, not only have they shown themselves to be revolting by obediently filing through the lobbies in support of a blatantly party political motion from their own government, they are now beginning to revolt against their boss, because they got found out. That's right, they're not happy at being Boris's cannon fodder. To be ordered to vote for something, then to be left out in the cold when it all goes wrong. And 2 Tory MPs, Robert Halfon and Tobias Ellwood, who serve as chairman on the Education and Defence Select Committees, have called for dramatic changes from Number 10. Halfon said Tory MPs mustn't be cannon fodder again, being sent into battle with no shoes or armour, while Ellwood called on Boris to rediscover and dust off his moral compass. Question is, did Boris truly ever have one of those? And one Tory MP, Philip Davies, had one of his messages leaked, where he said to the Tory whip's office to never ask him to vote for anything ever again. To say I am livid would be the world's biggest understatement, he said. So one assumes that Tory MPs have rightfully been given a lambasting by their constituents. Maybe next time, honour and the needs of the country will come before party. But somehow I doubt it. Then we had the Environment Minister George Eustace claiming that the Parliament Standards watchdog Catherine Stone was not able to investigate Boris over Wallpapergate because he's a minister, the Prime Minister, and therefore above Stone's pay grade. It's a ministerial issue, he grandly declared. But he had to be reminded that Boris is also a mere MP, so he can be held to account. Oh, the twists and turns. But it's this revelation that a previous chair of the Tory party said that Tory donors giving 3 million quid would get a seat on the red benches in the House of Lords that is now gaining traction, with the Labour Deputy Leader Angela Rayner saying, "Boris Johnson's Conservative Party is corrupt, dodgy, sleazy and on the take." And this stems from a joint investigation by the Sunday Times and the campaign group Open Democracy. Conservative treasurers who donate £3 million to the party seem almost guaranteed a peerage, says Open Democracy. In the past 7 years, every former party treasurer has given at least this amount, and all but the most recently retired have been offered a seat in the House of Lords. And it goes on to say that this is evidence of another cash for peerages scandal. And the Mail reports that Electoral Commission research indicated that once the peerages were obtained, the donations tended to dry up. The research also showed that the last 6 treasurers turned peers gave far less money once they were elevated to Parliament, it said. Now, I do have to point out that this is not exclusively a Tory thing. No, back in 2006 and 2007, several people put forward by Tony Blair seem to have a history of donating large amounts of money to the Labour Party coffers in what became known as the Cash for Honours scandal. And that one ran and ran and ran. So as I said, why would people think Starmer's lot would be any different? Anyway, Open Democracy points out that 22 of the Tories' biggest donors have been made lords in the past 11 years, donating a total of £54 million. Now, this isn't just an indication that our masters are treating seats on the legislature as baubles to be bought and sold, and so treating the rest of us with contempt. No, this is our elected government taking it upon themselves to actively turn our country into a banana republic. A rich banana republic with nuclear weapons, yes, but a banana republic nonetheless. The whole idea is that it's meant to be an honour to receive something like a peerage as public acknowledgement of years of service to the betterment of the country, knowing that you will continue that good work by helping to shape our laws. Not, I got rich or inherited wealth and bought a seat to help my political mates. And what's the real difference between inheriting a seat or using inherited wealth to buy one? And all this adds grist to the mill for those that want to get rid of the Lords or even go the whole 9 yards and eject the monarchy with them. Although you do have to remember that during the Brexit process there were many on the anti-Brexit, pro-EU left who, although they hate the concept of the House of Lords, would have been cheering them on as they tried to put their spanners in the Brexit works. And as to the prospect of replacing the monarch as head of state with a President Blair, or a President May perhaps, does release a cold flow into the bloodstream. And such a beast as a UK president would almost inevitably be politicised, so we'd have continual battles between the president as head of state and the Prime Minister as head of government. Although the modern royals are overstepping the mark and straying more and more into politics, they should can it. At the end of the day, it doesn't matter how you restructure everything if the same old people are in power doing the same old things the same old way. They'll just use the new institutions like they used the old ones. So it's really all down to who you put in those institutions and, more importantly, who you put in charge of appointing those who do serve in those institutions. As an example, what would happen to the church if you replaced the bishops with members of the mafia? Actually, wasn't that how they got so much wealth and land in the first place? And the final question is, at the next election, which bunch of sleaze-ridden, expenses-filing, junket-seeking, self-serving politicians are you going to vote for? Red or blue? Please like and comment below.